Missing golden moments. This is the Chris and Mike show, brought to you by Lux Professional Monitoring Hardware Headphones. If you want to find out more about Lux, just message us and we'll tell you. See what I did there, Mike?
It's
a plug. How do you get sponsors? By plugging them.
A shameless plug.
It was a shameless plug. Today I'm
also
wearing the Gilbert Fire Department's 100th year anniversary hat.
Very nice. Very nice. Shout out to the Gilbert Fire Department and their 100th anniversary.
Right. And my buddy Jake / Todd Smith, who was still around. He came to many of our NEMESIS shows back in the day.
I remember him. He was a cool dude.
Back in the day. He still is a cool dude.
Well, I only knew him for the very short time. I'm glad to hear he's still a cool dude. I personally would like to be sponsored by.
Which is good.
That's great. I would personally like to be sponsored by Charvel Guitars. I will give my address out. Just give me a shout out. I accept all free Charvels.
Plug them.
This is a beautiful 1989 STX Custom. This particular guitar has played approximately 1,000 shows on stage. Oh, yeah. Not many people have.
Is that the guitar where the string broke one night and you were... Oh.
Yes. Yes.
Was that,
okay.
Was that the guitar that broke a string on stage and you were...
That's a good story. That's a good story. So...
That's funny. It is a good story.
You can't make this up.
What song it was?
We were in the middle of playing Vision.
Vision. Okay. I love that song. That's a good song, man.
At the end of episode number 1, I made myself a note to shut my phone off.
Yep.
And I did not do that this time, so I apologize to all the people out there who are diligently listening. That is a good story, though. So I had a roommate at the time, and his name was Martin Norton.
Yep.
That was really his name, and he decided that he was going to be my guitar tech / bodyguard. The only problem is he was crazy enough to be my bodyguard, but he didn't know anything about...
We needed the bodyguard.
Yes,
right.
But he didn't know anything about being a guitar tech. So... I break a string in the middle of the song, and this is the only guitar I have at the time because my other one had gotten stolen out of the back of my car. Fucking assholes. I worked one whole summer doing a paper route to buy that guitar.
Fucking assholes.
Yeah.
Everybody out there driving around, and they see musicians' instruments and drums and any type of musician material in the vehicles, leave them alone. Starving musicians, note, starving. For a reason. They spend their life savings on their equipment to get to where they want to be, where their dreams take them. And you motherfuckers that break into their cars and steal their gear are the scum of the earth. You have no idea the struggles that musicians have to go through when initially starting up to buy their own gear. Right?
Amen. Preach it. So,
amen.
Back to my story. I broke the string.
Back to the story.
At one time, this is way too much information, but it's necessary to tell the story. This guitar had what you call a floating tremolo. So the tuning of the guitar was in direct proportion to all the strings being on the guitar. So when you broke a string, the whole guitar went out of tune. So instantly I couldn't play. I was fucked. And being on stage in front of hundreds of people at the time, I panicked and went back behind my amps, and the band valiantly played on for probably 10 minutes. Never missed a beat. These guys were true professionals. Everybody had fun. Chris took over, started giving out beers. It was a great time. But Marty came back and he said, what can I do to help you, man? I said, you can get the fuck away from me is what you can do to help me, because you don't know anything about what I need to do right now. Normally, this guitar, before I had it set up professionally by a friend of mine, shout out to Thad.
Right.
It had the floating tremolo. So I ended up having a block put in here so that it was like every other guitar, because I only had the one guitar at the time, and it was probably a year before I got another one. I think I played at least 6 or 8 months with just one guitar.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, it was a while. And I begged Troy to sell me this guitar. This guitar right here was originally bought by Ray Stone. Remember Ray Stone from the Juice Boys?
Oh, I do remember Ray Stone. Yeah.
He jammed with us at the Electric Ballroom in the Fender Showcase room. Remember you guys got written up about doing that song in... Absolutely. Was it the New Times that wrote about that?
Roadhouse Blues.
Yeah, they said it was the best version they had ever heard, and I concur.
But it was the Roadhouse Blues, right?
Yeah. Yep, that was it.
Yeah, I love doing Morrison, man. I haven't. Yeah.
Ray bought this guitar originally in 1989. Right. He sold it to Troy, who played in Common Ground that I ran sound for.
Okay.
Troy worked with me at a place called Color Masters when I was doing graphic arts. That's where my Charvel Model 6 got stolen. So I knew that Troy had bought this guitar from Ray, and I begged him to sell it to me, and he sold it to me for $300. So shout out to Troy. I still have it, and I still love it. It's always been my number one. Oh yeah.
So
here's a little known fact about electric guitars.
Okay, fire away.
Fire
away, Mike.
Little known fact about electric guitars. When you truly understand what you're looking for in the instrument, you do not plug the electric guitar in first.
Right.
You play it acoustically in a quiet environment, and you're listening for the sustain of the wood. If you hit the note and it doesn't ring out in the wood, it's going to sound like shit when you plug it in. It's not even worth plugging in. This guitar is made out of swamp ash, and it has just a beautiful mid-range tone to it that cuts through anything. Beautiful.
Right on.
I guess while we're on the subject of Nemesis, maybe we should talk about Nemesis.
We could talk about it. I have a question, because this is our third one, and I inadvertently. You know what? Am I gonna say something?
Check.
Say something, Mike.
Hello. Check. Test.
Hello. So the funny thing, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. Well, what's weird is my mic. My mic's not using this mic; it's using that mic, which is weird. So I'm just making sure you can hear me, because for some reason, even though this is plugged in to my Focusrite, it's selected.
Oh, I got you. It's not going through your condenser mic right now?
No. Like on the bottom of this where I click mic, it shows internal microphone built in. So hopefully that doesn't jack with our sound quality at all. That would be a drag. So anyway, let's talk about the rock and roll band that should have been Hello.
Lay it on me. What's your fondest memory of Nemesis?
I'm moving this around. My fondest memory of Nemesis had to be the cigarette incident at the Electric Ballroom. Just,
do you want to tell that story, or do you want me to?
We can both tell it.
All right, I'll let you
start.
So
we were preparing to go on. I forget who we were opening up for, but we were preparing to go on.
It was the Marshall Tucker Band.
Like I'm always amped at Nervous Energy, and those that know me, there you go. Those that know me know I have nervous energy. So I was antsy. I was pacing back and forth, and not nervous, just antsy. I was never. The first time we ever played live, I was nervous because it was the first time ever with a band live. I don't really count Disturbed. We played like 2 shows and they were open mic stuff. So, but with Nemesis, because we were playing, real gigs, we were selling tickets. We were opening for national bands, national acts, whatever you want to call it. And I remember every show, because you smoked, you'd have your guitar and you'd always have a smoke stuck up in the keys,
Hold on 1 second.
And not that I was ever a big smoker, because, I wasn't. Okay.
See that?
You get, there you go. There you go. Right,
ladies and gentlemen, just so you know, he wasn't kidding.
So
that's a permanent cigarette burn.
Yeah, there you go. I don't smoke. I never really did, because being a singer, always felt it would damage my instrument, right? But every now and then, just for the hell of it. Before every show, I would do a shot of Jaeger and drink a beer, and so I had done that, and I still was kind of antsy, amped up. So I grabbed your smoke, took a drag, inhaled, and put it back. I'll let you take it from there.
Yes, because what he didn't know was that I had a guy that lived about, 5-6 doors down from me when I lived at Metro Village. Also where Martin Norton lived, for those that are following along with the Nemesis story. Martin Norton and myself lived at Metro Village. There was a kid, he was probably 5-6 years older than us. And he lived right by the pool. So everybody had their door open in the summertime and we'd all be hanging out and drinking. This kid was a little weird. He was standoffish, kind of a strange guy, but I saw him sitting on his patio one day and he was rolling cigarettes. And, for those that are younger people in the audience, marijuana wasn't always legal. We used to have to hide it. And if you got caught with it, they would actually put you in jail. So we didn't talk about it, and we hid it, and only those that were in the know were in the know, right? So I get the bright idea. I'm like, he's rolling cigarettes. I wonder if you could roll a cigarette into a joint, right? So this poor kid, he cleans up his cigarette rolling machine, and he's into it just because we're giving him the time of day, right? He was so fascinated that we wanted to hang out with him. And I felt sorry for him, but I was happy for him at the same time. So we take our weed over there. We get it all broke up. Not really having thought it through. We were a little naive and stupid. Marijuana is very sticky.
Okay.
Tobacco is not sticky.
Oh.
We ruined this poor kid's rolling machine. So that's the only reason we only had one joint. Because we couldn't get another one through the machine. I bet he spent days cleaning that thing, man. So then poor Chris, he sees my cigarette like it's always there, and he's just used to grabbing it because we weren't weekend warriors. We were either practicing every day or we had a gig. There were no days off. So whether we were at practice or whether we were at a gig, he was just used to grabbing it, taking a drag, drinking his beer. That was his thing. So being in the middle of the song, we had no way to tell him. So I looked at Scott and he looked at me, and we just both started laughing. And needless to say, I think Chris had one of the probably better times he had on stage that night.
It was one of those things where there's a couple more songs in the set. It's like, wow, I feel really good. Like,
absolutely.
I feel better than I normally feel. Like, what's going on here, man?
Yeah, so tell the general public who is not experienced, tell everybody that is not experienced with the great blessing to the earth that is the THC in the marijuana, that all it does is make you feel better.
Right.
Correct?
That's all it did. It just it took the anxiety I had down for sure, and just, you know, we knew all our stuff forwards and backwards, so it wasn't, you know, I pride myself on never having forgotten lyrics or fucked up a song, you know, from a musical standpoint. I mean, practice we did, you know, when we were building the songs, but live, never messed anything up, you know. I'm sure there was times I was out of key, but that's just being live. But with with that night, I just remembered, like 2 or 3 songs later, man, it was just, I was just kind of like I could hear and feel everything musically. It was kind of a trip to where it's one of those weird moments where you're just in sync with everything, like everything you guys were doing and I was doing. It was just, I mean, it wasn't until like a week or so later that I realized what I did, but I just remember that show being a blast, you know, and then just jamming and having fun, which is what it was always about to me. Just jam and have fun. Whatever happens. Just, you know, own the space and time you're in and make the most of it and put smiles on people's faces, man.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think you hit the nail on the head when you said that there were times that you were out of key. There were times that Scott sped up and slowed down. There were times that I hit the wrong note. The one thing that we always reinforced all the time to each other is everybody's going to make mistakes. For the love of Christ, don't stop.
Yeah.
Correct?
Right. Yeah.
Because if you stop, it's a train wreck.
Just yeah, because the thing is, the audience doesn't, right, and the audience doesn't know you made the mistake unless they followed us from day one and know every one of our songs forwards and backwards. And even then, sometimes some of those fans that we had, you know, knowing that we may have done something a little awkward, I don't think it was ever really caught by them because, like you said, we just kept playing. We just played through it, and that's the true tightness of a band is you never stop. Like that Mellencamp show we talked about, I think the first episode, when he was drumming and his snare, he popped his snare. We heard he popped the snare because you and I both looked at him, and as soon as we looked at him, the drum tech guy grabbed just snare. His hand came up. By the time it went back down and hit that snare, that new snare top was on that set. He didn't miss a beat. It was insane. Probably, and that was at Cricket, so there's probably 20,000 people there. So
easy.
I'm gonna guess maybe 1,000 people saw that, if that, because it was just that flawless of a transition from and boom. You know, you needed that guy as your guitar tech.
I did. Absolutely. That would have been great to have that night, because just having it, I actually got to go back. There's no way I waited a year to buy another guitar. That story just came out of a fantasy land, because what that night taught me was that I could never play another gig without another guitar again. And if you remember, that's when I borrowed my cousin's Paul Reed Smith. He had that beautiful red Paul Reed Smith. It was gorgeous.
Yeah.
So I used that, and then the guitar that I have now.
Right on.
But I always prided
both
us.
of them.
No, well, the Paul Reed Smith got stolen. So that's probably a story for another day about scumbags.
Oh, okay.
If you remember, that guitar got stolen out of my apartment.
I think so, yeah.
Off the air, I'll tell you who I think it was, but I don't want to publicly shame someone because they were never convicted, but I have my suspicions as to who it was.
Okay. Right on. And you were going down the path about something about the band.
No, what I think
before you sidetrack,
the difference between a band that can power through mistakes to where nobody else notices. And you're right. We used to ask people all the time that followed us from day one or happened to be engaged to or married to one of the people in the band. What did you think? Did you hear, a mistake here or there? And 99 out of 100 times they'd say, no, it sounded great, or it sounded better than the last time. We only knew that, and we were conscious of not paying attention to the fact that we played these songs thousands and thousands of times at practice, at gigs. We played them till we were sick of them, and then we played them about 1,000 more times, and then we were ready. Like Chris said, we played them from our subconscious. We would do things that, thank God we had recording ability back then, because we'd watch those tapes that you recorded. And Scott and I and yourself, we would all hear things that we didn't even know we did that night.
Right.
So actually the songs would evolve and grow as we played them more.
Mm-hmm.
Because we never limited ourselves to they have to be a certain way.
Mm-hmm. Nope. And playing live, every time you play live, regardless of the band, every musician knows it's faster. You just unintentionally, your music's faster live. That was the one thing I heard about Charlie Watts, Rolling Stones drummer. Like, he kept all those motherfuckers in check. Like, he never sped up. He never slowed down. He was like a human metronome, they called him, because his drumming was on point, regardless if it was in front of 5 people or 500,000. He wouldn't waver at all. He was like the metronome drummer of all time. He's dead, right? I think he's dead.
Yes. Poor Charlie just died recently. And I saw him in an interview. And the one thing that I took away from that interview that I always remember is he was asked why he never showed his ability, because Charlie was a badass drummer. That guy could play anything. And the interviewer said, why don't you showcase that more often? And Charlie said, I play what Mick and Keith ask me to play. I play what the song requires, and I'm proud to do that. He knew what he signed up for. It's the whole thing that we talked about with songwriting within our own band. It's all about the song, man. It's not about me. It's what can I do to make this song that much better at this moment in time, correct?
Right. Exactly. That was the one cool thing that we talked. I don't know if we talked about this, but that's the one cool thing about you and I's relationship. I could give you a lyric. Which I wrote them out as. It's always written in a 4-line verse, chorus type ballad from a poetry standpoint, because that was my background in writing, was poetry. So I could give you something that typically would have 2 or 3 verses and a pre-chorus and a chorus, and 2 or 3 verses and a bridge in there, and then a wrap it up chorus, and you could take that, and the next time we played together, you'd have music that emulated what I was thinking of emotionally and the feeling of the song. You made it work, which is cool. And I'm not comparing us to NXS at all, but the only time I've ever come across anybody that had that kind of uncanny ability that you and I have was Michael Hutchinson and the musicians in NXS, because I saw a documentary on them. And they would give him music, and he would leave the room and go through his notebooks like I used to go through, and boom, oh, here it is, blah, 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 melody, here you go, here's your melody, here's your song. I'm like, what the fuck? But that was just, he had that connection. And I just, for whatever reason, you and I always had that connection. I've never had that with any other guitar player I've ever played with, like, ever. I've had to explain, I've had to, I don't know. You and I just have that thing.
It was easy, man. It was super easy.
Version of, yeah. Yeah.
It just always flowed naturally, you know.
Just was.
But we made it work that way because we don't have, neither one of us have an aggressive personality when it came to really anything. You know, it was having a good time, and it wasn't a competition, you know. I wanted to do justice to your lyrics, and it was just fortunate that you liked the music that I wrote, you know. The thing that I've missed in my life is having Scott behind the drums, because that was equally as easy to get a song written, because I can sit here and come up with riffs for days. You know that. I'll just come up with one after another.
Yeah.
But his forte, and there's never been anybody I've sat in a room with before or since that could piece something together that he heard for 2 seconds, 2 minutes, 2 days ago, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
He just had his brain, being a drummer, it was super easy for him to take pieces and put them together like a puzzle, you know? He would say, you played this thing the other day, now you're doing this. If you come up with just a couple chords here, now we got a bridge and we can tie those two things together. It would take 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Sitting here at my computer trying to do that on GarageBand, holy crap, man, it takes me days. Because I'm not a drummer.
Right. Well, there's a big difference of, and there's a big difference of making music in the same room than it is, you know, over the internet. Like a lot of the bands that put music out during COVID, right? And they would be recording their part. Like Guns N' Roses, the last album before they broke up originally, nothing was recorded in the same spot. Like Axl did his shit and sent it to Slash. Even Van Halen, the last record with Sammy, from a documentary I watched, Sam would go in and lay the vocals down after they were done laying the music down. Like, to me, that would have sucked. I would be like, fuck you. I'm not going in there by myself. Like, it's not happening. It's because, to me, you got to have that camaraderie and that rapport with your brothers and your, you know, because music's music and you need everybody there in order to, you know, do the thing. So it's just, I don't know how people can do it without being in the same room. Like we're you and I are going to work on some stuff. It's going to be interesting to see how we pull it off, if we pull it off. Because we fed so much off each other energy, you know, that it'll be interesting. If I'm dinging, that's because my son is chiming in from Okinawa.
He can chime in all he wants. He's defending our freedom. Thank you very much for your service.
Exactly. Yes. Well, he's chiming in a messenger, but yes.
Tell him hi from the podcast.
Yeah.
And thank him for our service. For our service. For his service. Jesus.
Absolutely. His service. Services. The service.
Our service is we're sitting our asses in this chair trying to provide some entertainment for the fine folks out there.
Right. Right. And this 92 fucking degree day in Arizona on November 7th, 2023. 93 degrees.
Chris is on the West Coast and he's enjoying 93 degrees, and it was a pleasant 63 degrees here in Pontiac, Illinois today. Beautiful. Yeah, it's all good, man. It's all good. That's why I moved back here.
Man. 68 degrees.
You can brag when I'm freezing my nuts off.
How's the winter? Right. I was going to say, how's the winter? Because it's coming, right? What do you start? And I haven't been in Illinois. I mean, I'm from Illinois too, so the listeners understand that. But
yes, all the cool people come from Illinois.
50 years. All right, this is true. Cheap Trick.
Adam Jones from Tool.
And us.
Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine. Billy Corgan from, actually, the whole Smashing Pumpkins, I believe. They started in Chicago.
Really?
Disturbed is from Chicago. REO Speedwagon is from Champaign.
I knew that.
There's got to be more. There's more. I just can't remember. Those are some pretty big bands. Though.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. Yeah, absolutely. I could Google it, but you know. So we should probably plug this now. So it's the Chris and Mike show. We're on. Where are we on? We're on Spotify. We're on Apple. Where else?
Yes, we are. Okay, so we are on Spotify. We are on Apple Music. We are on Google Podcasts. We are on Amazon Music. And we are on iHeartRadio. I have confirmed Spotify. I have confirmed Apple. I have confirmed iHeartRadio. I have not confirmed Amazon Music or Google. I will do that soon.
Okay. I need to reach out to Gavin and find out where he's at with our logo.
We definitely appreciate the people who have been listening, and if you can share it or get people to share it on your social media. We should currently be working on a Facebook page and an Instagram page, and all that stuff will be coming soon, and when we get it, we'll let you know. We're going to have a logo. We need the logo to put on those pages, so that's why they haven't been made yet. I've been questioned about a couple things. That's one of them.
Yeah, I just text Gavin right now, like, dude, where's the logo? Where's the logo?
He's on the ball, man.
So sometimes
we do appreciate the people who have listened and subscribed. Absolutely.
Oh, see, I haven't looked at anything of it yet because I'm that guy that just I don't want to know how many followers we have. I don't want to know how many subscribers we have. I just want to do our thing.
So I'm going to let you do that, but I kind of got to have to be that guy.
Right.
Because I would like to monetize this at some point. Right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I have to know how many hits we have so I can contact those people.
Right. Yeah. Like maybe we can get Gilbert Fire Department to sponsor us, bring a fire truck to my house during a show. Park it out front, turn on the sounds, wee, 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 If I had a little fire truck, I'd show it to you, but it's in the other room. I don't have any fire trucks with me. I do have Little Man on the Wall with a fire truck, though. I could make a weird little dash. Stay there.
He's going to show us a picture of his grandson on the fire truck. His grandson loves fire trucks, by the way, as a lot of grandsons do. I'm sure my little nephew likes fire trucks too.
This could be another.
We were talking fire trucks while you were gone, by the way.
Shameless sponsor plug. Oh, right on. Yeah. See, there's Little Man at the Gilbert Fire Station, #1. He's got his little ladder fire truck right there, and then the real life ladder fire truck right there. My buddy Todd gave me this. So this is mixed tiles. Mixed tiles. You want to put your memories on the wall? Little magnet stickers. Boom, on the wall.
So
mixed tiles.
So let me tell you.
See, There's your sponsor, Mike.
If you ever find yourself driving down Interstate 55 past Hudson, Illinois, find my brother because he's a volunteer fireman there, and he'll give Little Man a ride on the fire truck, I'm sure.
Right on. I don't know what I'd be doing in Illinois with Little Man because he's not mine. He's my grandson.
Yes, he is your grandson. But if you ever find yourself.
If I do.
You know where to find a place for him to get in a fire truck.
Yeah, because he gets that here with Todd. Like I think he's been to the station 3 times now. His first one was really cool. I should have brought it off the wall too, because the size of him, the picture I took, he's flying. He's doing this little fly thing. He was about one like this, like he's flying. So he's flying like this with the big fire truck next to him. And it captures the moment because it was the first time he went to the fire station and his eyes just kind of like I have a buddy, Ian Campbell, who's a trucker, owns a truck driving company. So I took him over to Ian's house one day because Ian was working on the brakes in his semi, but he took the whole thing. So shit you not, this tractor trailer took up like the front of his house and his neighbors on both sides. And little man, it was a cul-de-sac, so we got out of my truck, put him on the ground. He was just like, this thing was massive to him, right? Because he was only, as high as my knee. And here's this monster. And so Ian was cool, man. Ian let him in the cab. We let him mess with the headphones and push all the buttons and shit. We got him,
That's awesome.
Got him in the back, the cargo, and he was running up and down the ramp. Super nice guy. They have the annual Ugly Sweater Christmas party we go to every year, which is coming up next month. So that should be fun. Super nice family. Met them. Big booster guy for football when Jake was in high school. But yeah, it's nice to have those kind of friends that have things that the little ones get into.
Well, it's crazy because
this was a cool day because he's old enough.
All of a sudden, my brother just decided he wanted to be a volunteer fireman, so we got one in our family now too.
That's awesome. And is it Matt?
Is. Yeah.
Or the other brother? Matt. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Right on.
I just got one brother, and then I have a sister.
I don't think you can be a volunteer firefighter. Oh, yeah. Okay. I don't think you can be a volunteer firefighter in Arizona, at least down in the valley. I think you got to be legit.
Well, he lives in a pretty small town.
Yeah. Does he have a little fire bell in his house? So when the fire goes off, he rings. Oh, right on. No shit.
I'm sure that's how it works. I have no idea. I see the pictures that he posts on Facebook, and he told me that he became a volunteer fireman, and past that, I really don't know how it works. I'm sure they got to have something to where they can get a hold of him because they're on call 24/7, Maybe we'll have to have him on the podcast, and we'll talk about fire stuff. He can tell us about the trucks, what it took to be a fireman.
Firefighters.
I don't know anything about being a firefighter, so there you go. We could learn about that.
You have to go to school. I think you have to go to school at some point in time. Or you have to be in the military and learn all the firefighting things. The one thing that I will share with you that you're not going to miss is the Arizona crud. Remember the Arizona crud?
I do. I had it many times. Yes.
And yeah, that's what's going on right now. So if you think I'm doing this a lot, that's because I'm doing this a lot because the Arizona crud. Just so people don't misconstrue my sniffling for something organic.
He's definitely not a cocaine addict, so.
No. Drug-free right here. So what else should we chat about in this episode number 3 of the Chris and Mike Show podcast? As we are vastly approaching 40 minutes on the time. And you'll be happy to know I haven't had to pee. So that's good. Normally I gotta go to the bathroom by now, but not right now. Not today. Not today.
We have ways of making that happen so nobody knows,
I do. I don't really know. Oh, because you could pause it. That's right. We could pause the thing, and I would disappear and come back. But I'm good. I'm good, though.
Or I can just talk
I can just get a bottle. Like little man.
I can just talk to general public while you're gone,
Right.
I could tell them some stories.
Yeah, so true story. Yeah. True story. I don't know, about a month ago, maybe a month and a half. I take little man to school every day. So we get up, I bring him over, we hang out, I take him to school. So we're in my truck. He looks at me like scared to death. Pop, I gotta pee. reaches down and grabs hold. I'm like, shit, because I have nothing. And at home, it's like, dude, go out and pee in the grass. So luckily, I had a water bottle. So take the lid off the water bottle, dump the water out. Whoop, there you go, little man. Pull his shorts down, stick his dingling in the water bottle. He proceeds to fill about a quarter of that water bottle up. He's looking at me like, what the hell are you doing? Screw the lid back on, pull his pants back up, open my door, dump it out, and he's just like, whoa, what did you just do? Needless to say, he hasn't had to go to the bathroom ever again in my truck while waiting to go to school.
I would say that would probably have solved it for me.
Hey, man. Yep, solved. I'm like, hey, little man, you got to pee? Nope, okay. If he does, backyard, go pee in the grass, let's go. Every now and then he'll pee in the front yard, which is kind of funny. But, get away, birds. I'm seeding and the birds are in my yard. Get away, birds. It's winter grass time in Arizona.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Anything else you want to talk about?
I don't think we had any...
anything else you want to talk about?
I don't think I had anything else. We will cover the Nemesis subject
let's call
from
it a
time
show.
to time. I'd like to thank everybody for listening and share it with your friends.
Yes.
And remember Little Man and his
Little
fire
man says
truck.
hello.
Everybody should smile on that note.
Exactly.
We'll leave everybody with a smile.
They should. They should. Here, leave everybody with a smile. The fact that he had the sense to bring his ladder truck with him, and he was playing with his ladder truck while the ladder truck in the background was being washed. It was a little hot.
That picture
that's why he didn't hang out right at the.
That picture is amazing,
right?
man. I love it.
Yeah, it was portrait with my iPhone, my Apple iPhone i15 Pro.
You should submit that to some kind of contest or something.
Yeah, it's the portrait mode, man. Portrait mode on the phones are so unbelievably cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But yeah, it's just, and I just take them in the. Nikki was with me that day, so I didn't have to be latched to him, But we popped him up there because it was hot, and he had his fire truck, and he was talking about his fire truck and the fire truck behind him. But yeah, and you can't really tell,
totally
but he's got a really cute little grin on his face because best day ever when you're 3 years old and you get to go to a fire station.
Damn right. It doesn't get any better than that.
From Mike Michaels, I'm Chris Dunham.
I would like to give a shout out to...
I'm Chris Dunham. Until next time.
He's Chris Dunham. I'd like to give a shout out to Rhonda and Sunshine and Hannah and my mom and my dad and my sister and my brother-in-law. Those are our first 10 listeners or so. So thank you very much for being patient with us. And we'll keep getting better. We're going to learn how to do music and video. And it's going to get amazing. Bear with us. What's your shout out?
I can do music right now.
Oh, he's going to do music right now.
There you go. There's a little foreigner for you. That's my shout out.
There's our shout out. We have to get off here in 13 seconds.
Right. 10, 9, 8.
Goodbye, ladies and gentlemen.
See ya.
Right on, dude.
That was good. It's weird. My mic.